Let me address a couple of questions that have come in about body systems first. First question is, why do we have body systems? And that's a good, valid question because you've got everything in vitals and comprehensive already. And vitals and comprehensive should always be used in whenever you're setting up your first profiles and your clients' first profiles. All body systems is a way to quickly and more focusedly get to a specific issue, like your circulation or your lymphatic or your endocrine systems. To go in and set up, let's just say circulation in vitals and comprehensive, to do the same thing body systems will do. Just in there, you'd have to go in and set up over 600 items to scan. And so going into your vitals, selecting all of those, scanning those, optimizing those, then going into comprehensive and selecting all the categories that have anything to do with circulation, selecting those, scanning those, and optimizing those. The amount of time that would take for you to do, and the likelihood of you missing some of those or putting in things that didn't really, weren't really focused to that, say, circulation, is a big time killer. Here, you just select it, and all of those things are pre-selected for you. It goes through and does the scan and the optimization, so they're ready to do the optimization. And then it gives you a nice, clean report, similar to your inner voice reports, where you've got some nice graphics that are nice to look at, a cover page that is informative, and then it gets down to the results of the report. And it still gives you the information, whether it's acute or chronic. So that's still there. But it puts it in a way that I think you're going to find is easier to follow, easier to understand, and therefore people are going to be able to get more out of that scan and their report. So that's why we did the body systems. You have 13 body systems. Now, in the future, there will be a few more categories open or added to the body systems, but they may be set for only medical practitioners that can utilize those. But like we've said in the past, AO scan will never ever be finished, and therefore body systems may never be finished either. We'll continue to tweak it as we learn more from the data that we get back from all of the scans. So that's the first question. The second question is why the 13? Well, the 13, those are the key systems of the body. Almost everything that you can imagine that needs to be scanned is comprised in those 13 body systems. So when would you use them? That's the third question. So my recommendation would be when you initially scan yourself or a client or somebody, I would go in and do the full inner voice. I would go in and do the full vitals, do your intelligent combined comprehensive. And I'd do that for probably 3 scans in a row. A couple reasons for that. Help the system, train the system to understand you or your client's specific ways that it responds to this type of stimulus. Get all of that going in your scan so that you're better able to utilize the body systems when you've done those first 3 scans. Then after those 3 scans, you're going to find out, okay, we have issues with circulation. Or there's maybe frequency imbalances in the endocrine system or etc. You fill in the blank. Now when you go in to scan yourself or a client, you can focus, well, let's just focus on your circulation. Let's focus on your endocrine or your lymphatics. And you can kind of zero in. And after doing body systems a few times, you're going to find areas where you may want to go back on the next scan and focus in just on the comprehensive or just on the vitals in an area that just seems to be really stubborn. It's not moving. So remember, body systems is there to complement what you already have, to make your scans more smooth and more fluid. So that's when and how you'd use them. For myself, I know I've had circulation issues, and so I do circulation almost 3 times a week. Sometimes I'll just do a vitals, or I'll do a comprehensive, or sometimes, some days all I have time for, that I make time for, is my voice. But I do my voice every day. Use these scans and use that information to educate yourself on how to make your life better. Change your diet. Change the way you talk to yourself. Really important, that one. Ever stand in the mirror and just tell yourself how nice you are and how good you are? That is so important, guys. We are our own worst critics, our own worst enemies. You know, our brain, our subconscious doesn't know the difference when we are being critical to ourselves, whatever. It just takes it. So if we start to be critical to ourselves, our subconscious believes that. So what we want to do is make it to where we're talking to ourselves the way we'd want somebody to talk to us. You know, we want to build ourselves up and build other people up so that we heal. So the whole purpose of AO Scan, the whole purpose of these reports is to educate us on how to be better, how to change what we need to change to have a more fulfilling life. Okay, so now we're going to get into the reports. Okay, so let's go through the actual systems. So you have circulations at the top one. So let's just go to that one there. So you'll see it here on the screen. So your first page, it comes up. It has some graphics. It has the name of the individual and the time and the date that the scan was performed. The next page goes in about that system, gives you a little bit of information. Now, again, when you're doing this for yourself, you're going to read that the first one or two times, and then you know that. But for your clients, this is really good information for them. Helps them see it, visualize it, and understand it better. The next page is the page was what you had before in the Excel format, but with, and as you can see on the screen, circulatory body, circulatory vitals, circulatory causes, emotional causes, and ways to improve. And it will tell you on each one of those items whether it's an acute or a chronic issue. And the thing that's important to remember when you read these reports, the top one is the one that is the highest priority. The bottom one is the lowest. So remember, not only are you seeing acute and chronic, you're seeing it in list or in order of priority. The one that you need to pay the most attention to would always be the one on the top. Now, if you'll look on this report, and this leads me into another question, not really so much about the body systems, but one that comes up a lot, and we've talked about it. Go down to the bottom of this page here. It says ways to improve your circulatory frequency statistics. Very first one, quit smoking. Now, this is my report. I've never smoked a day in my life, not even once, never smoked. Now, why would that come up and be priority number one for me? Why does it come up for you? Well, there's a couple reasons, so let me go through that. Out here where we've been, this year has been really a bad year for pollutants from the fires that have come through from California and here in Utah. And so that toxic is in the air that we've been breathing. We've had an inversion where we've kept the pollution in down where we're breathing all the time. And so this adds to that. The system doesn't differentiate between smoke from a cigarette or from marijuana or from the exhaust off a car or smoke in the air or other pollutants. And so it comes up, quit smoking. This is an area where we, acknowledgedly, we can fix and improve over time when we get enough data to where we can separate out. So maybe it would in the future say, wear a mask or other types of things. But right now it just says there's these toxins in the system. Now that's one. The other one is if in your vitals, so if you see in one of your things that says quit smoking, go back to your vitals and look in to where it says nicotine. Is nicotine showing? Now nicotine shows up on mine a lot. Never smoked, but I'm around people who have smoked or do smoke. But more commonly is if you eat nightshade plants, they have nicotine in them. But their level of nicotine and the composition of the nicotine is not damaging to our system like nicotine from a cigarette. So sometimes that will trigger that response, quit smoking, because we've got the nicotine markers showing up. Again, these are things over time we're going to be able to fine tune some of that out. So when you see things like quit smoking and you don't smoke, or other things that don't make sense, drink less alcohol, well, you don't drink alcohol. Well, if you eat lots of sugars, you've got a little Jack Daniel's distillery going on in your gut because it's creating it. So there's a lot of things that we can pay attention to. But again, remember, the AO scan is here to teach you, to educate you. It is not to diagnose you. I don't smoke. So you can say, oh, this thing doesn't make any sense. It's not real. Or I drink less alcohol. Well, I don't drink any alcohol. So I made another mistake. Didn't make any mistake. Go back and look at your reports and find where those things. Do I eat a lot of sugars? Do I have a lot of triglycerides? Do I eat a lot of nightshades? Am I around people or in environments where there's a lot of toxic things in the air? All of these things contribute to a frequency imbalance in our system. Does that make sense? I hope so. Okay, so enjoy the body systems. I look forward to your comments and your feedback. Go through those reports, look at them, do your own scan today, look at your reports, go through them, let us know what you think.